A seismic shift is coming to the pharmaceutical landscape as President Donald Trump unveils a bold plan to reshape the industry. Starting October 1st, the U.S. will slap a 100% import tax on all branded and patented drugs. Think blockbuster medications like Humira or Cialis, unless manufacturers have already begun building factories domestically. The catch? Companies currently constructing or expanding U.S. production sites will be exempt. According to Trump's recent announcement on Truth Social, this move isn't just a numbers game. It's a calculated gamble to lure global drug makers back to American soil. But here's where it gets controversial. Critics argue this could backfire, creating shortages and hiking costs for patients. Could this policy ultimately lead to higher costs for patients, or is it a necessary step toward reshoring critical manufacturing? Let's break it down. Branded pharmaceuticals are those sold under proprietary names and protected by patents, blocking cheaper generic versions from entering the market until those protections expire. Trump's logic? A steep tariff will force companies like Eli Lilly, Johnson & Johnson, and AbbVie to either foot the bill for foreign imports or invest in U.S. facilities. Yet, as CNBC reported, these firms are already grappling with Trump's broader drug pricing reforms and a leadership shakeup at the Department of Health and Human Services. The stakes? A fragile supply chain already strained by years of offshoring. In 2024 alone, U.S. pharmaceutical imports soared to $213 billion, a near tripling over the past decade, per UN data. And this is the part most people miss. The tariffs aren't just about punishing corporations. They're part of a larger strategy. The administration's Section 232 investigation, which assesses how imports threaten national security, has already targeted pharmaceuticals, cars, and aluminum. Now the scope is widening. New probes into robotics, medical devices, and even personal protective equipment, like N95 masks, mean more industries could face tariffs soon. But will it work? Analysts like Evan Seigerman of BMO Capital Markets warn that moving drug manufacturing isn't as simple as relocating an iPhone factory. The global supply chain is a labyrinth of specialized processes. Pharma is among the most complex industries, he argues. You can't just snap your fingers and reshore. Drug makers aren't biting their tongues either. Eli Lilly recently warned that tariffs would drain resources needed for innovation and domestic expansion. Meanwhile, J&J's CEO Joaquin Duato echoed concerns about supply chain disruptions, stressing that tax incentives, not tariffs, would better boost U.S. manufacturing. Even as J&J announced a $55 billion investment in American operations, it expects a $400 million tariff hit in 2025. Others, like Pfizer, are recording similar charges. But not all companies are equally vulnerable. Firms like Eli Lilly, with more U.S.-based plants, may weather the storm better than global giants like Novartis or Roche, which rely heavily on overseas production. The bigger question, what happens to patients? Health advocates like Lee Purvis of AARP fear generic drugs could vanish from shelves if companies can't profit under the new rules. We're already fighting to lower prices, she said. Tariffs might push us further backward. And yet, Trump's team insists this is about long-term stability. They argue that a self-reliant drug industry is non-negotiable in an era of geopolitical uncertainty. But is reshoring worth the risk of higher costs and shortages? Or will this policy spark a backlash from consumers and lawmakers? We'd love to hear your take. Do you think the benefits of reshoring outweigh the potential risks to patient access? Share your thoughts below.